And
Oh
yep, there you go.
man,
Oh, see, I would want that on the
that's
recording, actually.
I've put Clarice away for a little bit just because Brad's not there, so I get less Clarice action on the live streams.
All right, so we're live, and we got some special guests here tonight. Even though it's kind of a small night for us, we didn't have a special speaker, announced everything last minute, but we do have John Howell and Richard Carlton in the building here, all over the world. How'd you like to start, John? Would you like?
I could do the full access preview for 2026. Shall we do that?
Sure.
Let me just share my screen. Is that set up?
Yeah, you can probably anybody can share.
There you go. You see it?
Almost.
Yeah,
There we
there
go.
we go. Yeah.
Okay, so this is just real quick preview of full access 2026. What's ahead next year after having a real good successful year this time with several Claris people on site. So, get it to click. So the dates coming up for 2026 are going to be Monday through Thursday, August 24th to the 27th. That's the last week of August, and that's about 8.5 months from now. So on the first day, August 24th, that's Monday, we're going to have a full day of sessions along with the developer on-ramp training series happening at the same time. Then on Tuesday, we've got another full day of sessions along with a game night and a bonfire party outside in a picture I will show you of location, along with a jam session for whoever brings musical instruments, kind of reminiscent of the old DevCon days. The third day, Wednesday, with the same thing. We'll have a full day of sessions, and then we'll have game night, and that's kind of an indoor night where we'll have beverages supplied and a nice party indoors along with a second game to be determined. The fourth day, another full day of sessions, and then in the evening, explore Monterey. So we won't eat dinner on site that night. We'll probably go outdoors and either go to Carmel or Monterey and make it an adventure of the area. So this is really a full 4-day conference. Okay. And we recommend everybody come early, stay late, bring your family, because not only is it a wonderful 4-day conference, but the location is a Asilomar. People want to say Asilomar conference grounds. Asilomar means retreat or relaxing by the ocean. That's in Pacific Grove, and that's right between Monterey and Carmel by the sea, actually, near the Monterey Bay Aquarium and the wharf and Carmel Valley, and a lot of beautiful scenery and parks all nearby within minutes. Happens to be right near the location of the very first FileMaker Developer Conference in 1999. And here's the welcome sign. There's the welcome sign to Asilomar. It's right there in Pacific Grove, which is sandwiched right between Monterey and Carmel. This is the main meeting hall. This is the Merrill Hall that we're renting for the week. This will hold something like 1,296 people, something like that, set up in lecture style. Of course, we won't use it in this particular configuration. We'll have sponsors along the sides there outside of the posts. And here's another configuration where it's set up for classroom style. We probably won't set it up this way either. We're probably going to set it up sideways and do it this way, similar to this.
Nice.
So that it's much more comfortable and have screens going that way. And there'll be booths, showcase booths behind those screens and then off to the right. And then Claris will have a big section in the back. It's a beautiful hall. Nice. This is architected over 100 years ago. I'll tell you a little more about that in a moment. Here's another meeting room.
Screen again.
Sorry?
Can you go back? Yeah. Just 1 second. Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a beautiful hall. That's set up by, this is run by Aramark, but this was set up for a particular conference. They do all different configurations. I wanted you to see the options. We'll probably do it something like this. This is another meeting room called Heather that holds 110 people. And this is just a short walk away, about a 2-minute walk from that other building. This one is called Scripps. This meeting room holds up to 60 people. This is a historical landmark that you can see. It's old red oak. It was built around 1915. And here's another room called Marlin, which holds 30 to 40 people in classroom style. We're going to be renting that one for training and for other small classes as they may appear. We're also renting a fifth room called Surf and Sand. This is a short walk from the dining hall that, as you can see, is surrounded by glass. So it doesn't do really well for like throwing up screens and looking at computers. This is, we're going to be reserved exclusively for conversations, yoga, meditation, prayer, 12-step meetings. People will be able to schedule it throughout the week for the 4 days. What you can't see off to the right is it actually looks at the ocean. You got a deck outside there for yoga, and it has a short walk on the back side of it out to the beach, which takes about a 5-minute walk. So this is a beautiful, beautiful room, but it's mostly good for social type stuff. This is the outdoor fire pit area where we will have jam sessions and a s'mores night with drinks supplied outdoors around the fire pit. That's all been scheduled. This also is a short walk to the beach. It's a beautiful little spot. There is a social center that holds about 225 people. This is just the back end of it with a couple full-size billiard tables. It's also old red oak built over 100 years ago. And it has a nice huge fireplace, reminiscent of Hearst Castle. This is the dining hall. This is the Crocker Dining Hall that, with its associated attached rooms, will dine over 750 people. We will have probably a dedicated room off to the side. They have on-site chef, and they're featuring local, organic, like farm-to-table type food. It's a wonderful facility. Here's a view of the ocean, which is a simple walk about a football field and a half down a wooden boardwalk that's provided.
And if I may interject, John,
Yeah.
we decided that having the ocean there would one up the old lazy river that we would have at the conferences.
Yeah, we don't have a lazy river. We have a lazy ocean.
Yeah, it's a lazy ocean. It goes all the way to Japan, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So if you get in there, with a couple oars, you can hang out. The rooms are really nice. Some of them, like this one, if you were to get the right view, it actually has a view of the ocean. This is a room that has 2 queen beds. There's all different kinds of rooms. This one's set up for a family, 2 queens and a couple twins. So it's like, come, bring your kids, bring your spouse, take a vacation, come a week early or stay a week late. It's very inexpensive because this is let me go back. This is a California state park. If I go back to the very first one, when I show you the sign, you can see in the little circle there above the word Asilomar, it's a California state park, which means it's well maintained, well managed. The prices are reasonable because they're limited, kind of a rent control type of thing. And it is the only fully self-funded California state park. They make enough money renting rooms and meeting halls for conventions that they don't need to receive any funds, so they don't get involved in any kind of politics whatsoever, which is nice. So that's a little about the facility.
So if I wanted to book my room right now, could I?
Yeah, you could book a room there right now. We've already been there a couple times.
We have a block of rooms that you'd have to.
We're going to be reserving a block of rooms, but it's like the sooner you sign up for the event, the more chances you get a room, because they will be renting them out. They got to fill it up, right, all along. So we're going to ask people to get their reservations early, because there are 313 rooms on this property. When they run out, they have a contract with an associated hotel nearby at the same pricing for overflow, but then you got to kind of take a shuttle over, or one of the golf carts. So it's much better to be on site, but they will sell out because the event's in August.
So to clarify, if we register to go to the conference, that doesn't include the hotel. We have to do that separately.
No, what we've done is set it up. Good question, Richard. We set it up on the website so that when you sign up for the registration for the event, you're given a link to go to Asilomar and set up your own reservations for your rooms at that time. And the way we set it up is a block when you rent rooms, and the rooms are like, if you're single, it's like $335 a night, but that includes 3 meals every day. That's part of the ticket. And if you share a room with somebody, it's $450 for the room, so it drops down to like $225 per person, plus a $20 facility fee for the whole time that you're there. So it can be really inexpensive, and you can get rooms that have more than 2 beds. So it can be really inexpensive. And again, all 3 meals. If you bought the meals separately, it's about $100 a day. And this is gourmet stuff. I went there with a friend of mine, George, to go check this out about a month ago. And they comped our rooms because they know we're coming to bring a conference. We went for dinner, and the dinner was New York steak or choice of grilled salmon with broccolini, baked potatoes, and chocolate cake. Yeah,
Damn.
that was the first night we were there. So it's really good food.
All right.
So this is a big step up from the JRC, where the rooms were very Spartan and the flank steak tasted like old socks.
Hey.
So one of the things, and the reason for that, because I think John kind of buried the lead here, is, as most of you may know, there is not going to be a Claris Engage for 2026.
Right.
And we have positioned the timing of this conference as to kind of fill the gap. And because of that, we're scaling it up this year. I don't know if we'll always keep it up to this scale, but we're ramping it up probably more than we originally would have intended to, but we needed to have a nice venue for this. So just kind of bear that in mind, that this is going to be kind of almost a mini Engage.
Mike makes good points. Now, I haven't mentioned any of these things because I did not include all these. We have a number of really beautiful talking points. I did not include them in this presentation because I geared it for one tomorrow that I have to do this in 3.5 minutes, what I'm showing you. So I just bare boned it to like some pictures and brief discussion points. Yeah, I know, huh? There's a number of talking points about how wonderful the facility is, where we've come from, why we're going here. I didn't really include all of that, so we could open that up to discussion as well. But I'll tell you, when we sat at the Jesuit Retreat Center and Ryan McCann was on site doing a little Q&A and said how wonderful it was, and he'd love to send 5 engineers and project managers, and everybody turned around and looked at me like, "Hey, what are you going to do?" And immediately I sat there thinking, where would we possibly hold an event that's within driving distance of Apple's headquarters, Claris headquarters, that is nicer than the JRC, because the Jesuit Retreat Center was 8.5 miles from Claris headquarters. I'm like, well, there's nothing else that's affordable in the Bay Area. And immediately came to me as Silomar. So I went to my room and I started making phone calls, and I had initiated a contract within 1 hour. This is like the ideal location. Again, it has the legacy of being near the very first FileMaker developer conference. It's an 1.5-hour drive. It's literally 79 miles from Claris headquarters. And you get to go through Santa Cruz and Watsonville and that wonderful place where they're storing all the batteries, down the coast. It's about a 4-minute drive to Pebble Beach. If you play golf, a lot of cool stuff. And again, yeah, there's more to talk about. Let's talk about the sessions, though. Again, we had a lot of wonderful speakers in 2025. The sessions at Full Access are always done by the attendees because as people sign up, they also request to speak. We don't vet things. This is done more of an unconference style. So if you want to bring a session and it's a good topic and people say, yeah, then we hold it. We're not vetting them or previewing them. This is an unconference style, which means it's designed by developers for developers. It's not about a big marketing hype of trying to just bring out all new product features. Although since Claris is going to be there, they're going to be giving talks. And they're going to talk about new product features and whatever stuff's coming up. We have sponsors coming in right now. They're signing up already. I got 2 new sponsors yesterday. Claris is sponsoring. They committed to that just this week, so we have that in place. They intend to send a host of both technical staff and management staff. I am told it's like in the neighborhood of 5 engineers and 3 project managers. We will see what happens. Registration starts if we have to check with Ron Cates to see if he's on target, but he told us we should be able to start taking registrations tomorrow, December 12th, on our website at this address. So that's what I have in a brief presentation of a preview. There's so much more that can be discussed, but I'd like to just turn that over to Richard for a few minutes.
Yeah, so getting Claris behind this was a big deal for John and the management team at Full Access. I've been operating around the periphery trying to connect them to the people that need at Claris need to see the value of what was going on.
We thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to help with that. I've got a full plate, but if I can help someone without killing myself in the process. I actually picked McCann up, Ryan McCann, CEO of Claris, picked him up and drove him there. And at one point I had to get out of the car because he was still doing business. And I realized it was HR, and I pulled over to the side of the road and got out so he could have a private conversation. So he's very busy. He is swamped. He's very busy. So let's talk about this real quick. There's a lot going on at Claris. Most of us have no idea how big and cool things are coming. I got a little bit of a little bit of insight into it because I was like, hey, it's not been super great on the AI side, or we need to do better with this. And they have got religion down there. There's a lot of investment going on. We'll start to see this next year. However, Ryan McCann, he's a Claris CEO, but essentially makes him an Apple vice president. It's really what he is. Came to the event. We record the event. He hates it when I record or when anyone records, because what happens is that it gets played back. And if he doesn't say something exactly the right way, that it could be played back and Apple Legal gets involved. They crawl up his ass and he doesn't need the stress. He also will hold his tongue and not say things that he would otherwise say. So there's been an interest in seeing the recording from this last year. That's not going to happen. That recording has been shredded and disposed of because Ryan asked for that. And so what it does, it says that when he comes, and his intent is to come this next year, is he's going to have an in-person, non-recorded, closed-door talk with whoever wants to be in the room. And he can be much more freewheeling and transparent. Like, I'm too much that way. And then, and so he can be more this way as long as he knows it's not going to be on YouTube or someplace like that. So a couple takeaways from the Ryan McCann interaction this last year, super important, or this, it's a month and a half ago, or 2 months ago, whatever it was that if it's not recorded, he'll be much more forthcoming. And not only that, the open Q&A format was super valuable. Dennis Burnham's not here, but I've been dealing with Claris for 35 years. And I have a litany, like all of us have a litany of things that we would like to see them change. And are you aware of blah, blah, blah? And we all have our pet peeves about whatever. And what I try to do is pick one item and then kind of hammer on that nicely. Once every month or two, couple months, whenever I see them, and I ask them about the one thing. The reason I do that, I don't want to overwhelm them, and I'm giving you tips because something really interesting happened at this event, quite by accident, and I'd seen it happen before, is that Dennis Burnham, who's a giant pain in the ass, right? I love Dennis, but he is a felony level pain in the ass. He's smart, he's intelligent, and he's happy to just let it rip. And he watch this recording, he'll be laughing. He doesn't know this, but we have these conversations. So it's like Mike or Vince or someone has an idea about something. And when you present it to someone, they have to be in a position to be receptive to it. And you never know when Claris is going to be receptive to an idea. You know the idea is important. We all know it's important, but you have no idea if they're capable of actually hearing the message, because they're worried about their performance reviews or the sales for the quarter. They're worried about a million things, Apple breathing down their neck. So Dennis gets up there and starts talking about quality of life improvements, which was a Rick Kalman initiative back when he was in PM, and he kind of herded that along. And it got a little bit of love, but when Rick was moved, kind of let go and then came back, and he's in Andy LeCay's role as an advocate, right? He's not in product management where he's in this advocacy role. Really, the quality of life stuff is kind of there, but not really. When I say quality of life, we're talking about the code folding, the little things in FileMaker that make our lives less miserable, things that probably shouldn't have been in a long time ago. Well, so Dennis Burnham gets up there and very articulately, very nicely lays this out for Ryan McCann. And at that moment in time, in that moment of the universe, McCann was receptive to it, but it didn't fully click. I put him in the car. Rick Kalman gets in the car. I take him back to Claire so they don't have to worry about driving. And these two start bzzz. And by the end of the car ride, they decide that Dennis Burnham was one brilliant, who we would have known, and that the idea of this quality of life improvement needed to be a major thing because it's easy for them to knock stuff off on that. And so the CEO's like, that's a great idea. It's the most amazing idea I've ever had. And I'm like, and we've all talked about it before, but it was a moment of that. So we're bringing back to the Engage. It won't be recorded. It's your chance to think about what you want to say. And I would just simply encourage you that it may feel like they don't listen, and they don't always, but there are times and places where they will do it. And Vince has been there when you ask him something. How many times we've asked for offsite backups? 30 years since FileMaker Server came out with backups. Oh, now we're going to have offsite backups. It's a miracle, right? 30 years later. Somewhere someone said something and someone was receptive. So I would encourage you to come to the conference, invest in it, and be prepared to, have this conversation. And someone's idea, all of us have our little things, have an idea, and it might get picked up. I just want to congratulate Dennis on that, because he said that. I'm like, oh God, we've only talked about this 100 times. But for the executive team, it was like the light came on, angels were singing, oh, it's amazing. And off they go. So we're going to see a lot of work in the quality of life stuff.
So wait a minute. Didn't we just have a lot of changes for quality of life already? Like quality of life.
I understand your question, and I'm not going to pick on them, but somewhere in this, because there's a lot of reorganization and rejiggering, and I can't get into more technical stuff, but PM is really, there's the PM part of the company that's doing FileMaker, and there's a PM that's doing the other stuff like the Connect and Studio, although it's beyond that. And I will simply say that I think it got lost along the way somewhere, and it wasn't a focus of the executive team, and suddenly it became a focus. I'm not giving Dennis credit for common sense and timing, right?
But Vince? Kevin Frank also got up and spoke directly at one point. Mm-hmm. And he said, if I remember correctly, politely or respectfully, he says the product looks like shit. If you build stuff in it, it doesn't look modern. It doesn't look great. We all know that stuff when you present things, you only have limited time to catch the attention of people. And if it doesn't look great, it's just people pass on it, And so that was a comment that I hope.
But that one didn't come up, and it didn't resonate with their conversation. Listen, part of my job, or what I do, and they know this, is to try to cross communicate between what happens internally, because the way they see things internally is different than we do. Right. I told them this last night, and I said, listen, so they there was a lot of ideas, Vince, all valid, but the one that Ryan glommed onto was a quality of life.
And when you say quality of life, are you talking about what Tony calls bread and butter?
We're talking about code folding, or you go into relationships and you want to have a search box at the top and hunt for, and it highlights the relationships that you're searching for, stuff like things that as a developer
Monkey bread software.
Monkey bread.
Yes. Bread. Okay. If you just stole the top 20 features of Monkey bread every 6 months, then that would be quality of life stuff.
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
But he doesn't mind. I asked him about. He doesn't mind.
Yeah.
Christian. So.
Here's my theory of all this stuff that's been happening. So I don't know how far, I don't remember all the names, but remember Vin Adala, who was responsible for WebDirect. And there was, I forget the name of the guy, but around the same time, Vin Adala's boss or manager, whatever his name, he ended up at Salesforce.
John
Ziegler. He ended up at Salesforce.
And so did Vin. Both.
Vin Adala left for Salesforce. And this other guy, he was in charge of the XML, but he lived and breathed the XML, the FileMaker XML. And he also ended up at Salesforce. But when that person left, to me, it was a telling sign. It's like, wow, you've lost. It's like losing Clay, basically. Someone who knows the platform inside out, talks and lives and breathes FileMaker, fire breath FileMaker or whatever, and they leave. That's a gaping hole, right? And so then you get, and again, uh, again, with all due respect to all the new people, you get some of these new people in there, they've never even used FileMaker. They don't know like the beauty and passion that a lot of us have experienced for years and years about the platform. And they go in there and they're directing and building new stuff. And it's like, we're just losing kind of the spirit of what the product was all about.
So
And
I
yeah,
talked to Ryan about this last night. I spent
yeah.
quite a bit of time with him. And this is one of the topics I brought up. So for those of you who haven't seen this, Martha Zink went to Claris. She
Yep.
now works for marketing. Ryan is aware that they need more people who have combat experience with the FileMaker platform with customers, right? So he's aware of that, and they're trying to add those people as they can, right? There's also been acquisitions from people who are really excellent product managers, people from Amazon, things like that. Once again, it's not so much about them trying to sell FileMaker, so how to put it in the channel and have it do well, right? And so he's trying to find people with previous experience that's helpful for their specific job. So I agree with what you're saying. It troubles me whenever I see highly experienced people going out the door. I did bring it up last night, and he is aware of this as a major concern.
Yeah, personnel
you know,
training, that is such a killer.
So I have a question. First off, I'm enjoying the sort of behind the scenes look here. And for Richard, I guess, the Dennis Burnham punch list, which resonated. I'm curious if that's public. And I also appreciate that Ryan McCann doesn't want to be recorded. That's often useful. I wonder if that, I got one more thing just to fill out the kind of question. I heard stories about many, many years ago, Claris or FileMaker, whatever it was called at the time, approached the Los Angeles FileMaker community, huge number of developers there, and had a kitchen meeting, I think it was called, and they came up with 100 features, or let's just say 100. And then over the course of years, they happened. That sounded like a really good initiative that sort of lines up with what I'm hearing about quality of life. And I'm just wondering if Dennis' list is public and if there's the ability to, chime in with my, what do you call it, pet peeves?
Yeah, no, well, okay, so back up. So let me tell you how this is sequenced and rolling forward. And I'm allowed to say this. So Dennis mentions quality of life and gives examples, okay? The specific examples that Dennis has, I don't know super matter a lot. Because Rick, back in product management, was part of those kitchens. He had the complaint list that Tony, you've had, and everyone's had, David Knight and all these people, that part of that group down there. And he has that. And so Ryan has tasked a couple people, and one of the people they tapped is Rick, who already has plenty of work on his schedule. Tapped him to help prioritize the quality of life items that they have on a punch list. So will it be your specific pet peeves? Can you affect that? I don't know. I would suggest that if you have a pet peeve item that you think is ultra essential, I would send an email to Rick Kalman. He knows who all of us are for the most part. Rick_Kalman at Claris.com. You can put your vote in, but he's got this big database with ideas stuff plus the stuff from LA. So I trust him that he will sieve through and find the top items that are the most value. But Dennis kicked that over. It's so funny. And they even, and I was like, who was that guy? Ryan's like, who's that guy? Dennis Burnham. Yeah. And I'm going to tell this to Dennis. His head's going to get 12 feet in diameter. It'd be huge, but I'll have to pop it somehow.
You'll have to watch the recording.
Yeah, that was going to delete that recording.
It's great that the whole full access team, John in particular, to kick this off. Thank you for, initiating and starting it to happen this year for the most part. But I think it's just, you guys are saving Claris's butt. They're not going to have a conference next year. Full access is going to be the Claris conference next year. Yeah. And in a sense, I mean, what Ryan said was, it's just too costly for them to organize. And this is kind of a community volunteer, kind of group of people. There's a lot of people that worked really hard to make it happen. And so we're we're basically saving our community.
We're finding that it's not an inexpensive thing to throw. This is a $500,000 event. If we
I
get the
understand.
attendance that Claris wants us to have, right?
And can you share numbers, like, or
What's the number
actually
they
don't
want?
share numbers?
No.
Don't share numbers. What
That was
I'm
enough.
curious about. No,
200?
what I'm curious about is the new layout that you said that you're going to reconfigure for. Like, what is the seating capacity for that reconfiguration?
That
Roughly?
reconfiguration you saw had 200 chairs. And so, you know, our target attendance is, Mike, tell me if I'm on track for where we last talked, between 150 and 250.
Yes.
We're not trying to get to the level of Engage, but we could hold 250 people in that room comfortably.
We could actually, you know, have larger attendance, but we think that if you get beyond 250, we're gonna lose the sense of community that was so valuable in our first full access.
Right. Trying to imagine we
have
had
to maintain that even at 250.
we had 50 people. Imagine trying to maintain that level of fellowship or community,
Well-
whatever you want to call it, 5 times bigger. What to speak of 10?
Well, I think the answer to that is just that be able to break down in smaller groups within the larger group is all. You just have to find
That's
a way
why
to make smaller community within a larger community is all.
That's why we have 5 different rooms. That's the biggest one, and the others are smaller. If attendance gets as large as we imagine it could, there are other rooms to rent, but we picked the ones that we liked the most.
Right. Note that Engage You had 247 people
Right.
on that, and that had like what it had Marie, it had Douglas, it had Giuliano, it had Louis, it had Robert. I think that's it. 5 people from Claris.
Yeah, they
And you're
already
gonna
told
have,
us.
you're going to have more.
They told us they expect about 8, but we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, but I'm seeing easily more than 250.
I think that's a distinct possibility, Vince. I agree with you. I think there could be quite a few more, especially if Claris gets behind and pushes on it. I mean, here's the thing: if you dealt with Claris over the years, they hate flying people across the world. They hated Florida. They hated these places. If it was local, they could send more people. It was cheaper on the budget, just like all of us have to fly.
Right.
And they could send more people. I would be shocked if we don't get Ryan there next year and a pile of engineers and then PM. And then Yeah.
That's why we're having it close, Richard. That's why we put it where it is, right?
Yep. No, I agree. I'm just stating that they run out of excuses to not go, right? Because it's all you have to do is get in the car and drive for an hour and you're there. If you live in the Bay Area. Yeah.
We think that they'll be very excited about this venue location, and they could potentially scale it up for their own Engage or DevCon in future years.
The following year.
Location. Yeah.
He's right. Now, Rick Coleman, among maybe others, and now Julie Sigfrinius had not heard of this place, but Rick Coleman used to work for, I think, Santa Clara County Board of Education, and he said he had been there on conferences for the Board of Education several times, and he loved it. And in fact, I just heard the other day that, who was it? One of our attendees from north of Chicago, Chris Conger. See, the moment Chris Conger was at Full Access, right? And the moment he heard that it was a Silomar, he's like, I'm all in. I know that place. So it's well known for people who like to do retreats and conferences that are set up for like intellectuals and educators and medical people. It's very well known for this type of event. When I met with the woman, her name is Vivian, to do this and went down in person. By the time we got there, she goes, I already talked to my son, who's an IT guy, and he knows who Claris is. He knows your crowd. And she said, he made it clear, we have to get you here. We will make deals because we really want you. Because we know the type of people that will come to this type of conference at this location are the kind of people that will come back year and year and year. So it's a long-term sales prospect for them because they get that we are exactly the vibe of a type of community that would love this facility.
So funny story. I was framing what our intentions were to my boss, John Newhoff, over at Portage Bay, who lives up in Seattle and doesn't live in the Bay Area.
Is that today?
And I was trying to frame what we are looking at and how, everything that we've talked about, Engage, everything else. And I was telling him about this beautiful facility by the sea, and he says, "Oh, a Silomar. I went there for a wedding."
See?
Wonderful location. He named it before I told him.
I thought of it. That's great. I thought of it because I went to San Jose State University. Again, I graduated 39 years ago. Wow. And I remember going with my girlfriend one day. We were just exploring Monterey and we're going along the beach and riding bicycles. And we came upon a Silmar and we walked through the place. And I said, oh, I want to come back here for a retreat sometime, but I never had an opportunity to do it. So it came into my mind as a fond memory for a place that I had just simply walked through. It is designed by Julia Morgan back in about 1915, before women had the vote, as I remember. It was built as a place for women's empowerment, architected after the style of William Randolph Hearst Castle in St. Simeon, and she's the same architect who built Hearst Castle. So it has this history, and all the rooms are named after famous women who were powerhouses, architects, psychologists, back in the day before women really got any recognition. Now, that's a really good important point because it's about uplifting people, and it should also attract more, females to our conference, because they'll understand that this place is meant to be a safe, empowering place for everybody, all sections of our society. What?
Yeah, that's great. Great news. Looking forward to it.
Hey, y'all, I gotta leave.
Oh, Ronnie.
I enjoyed seeing y'all. Listen to this. Thanks, Richard, for talking. John,
Hey,
awesome.
Ronnie, thanks for your photos. I'm using some of your photos for a presentation tomorrow.
I appreciate.
Absolutely.
I think I'm gonna have to go because Dennis is gonna want to talk to me. Now that I've talked about it.
There you go.
Hey, wait. So, Richard, before you go, when's your next show?
Live stream tomorrow at 1:00.
1:00 in Western or Pacific time.
Yeah.
And have you got any interesting speakers on the way up?
Tomorrow, for what we're doing. Well, okay. So short version of what's going on. Not really tomorrow. This is a side note. The community doesn't really entirely know what to do with AI in a real meaningful sort of way. We're running into issues with that. Claris is aware of that. You got Todd Geis and a handful of seniors, and some of my senior engineers are making use of it. But that's not resonate as well as it should, and the features are a little hard in the product to use. I think that's going to get some more love from Claris. Not necessarily new features, but to take the ones they have and make them more approachable by an intermediate developer, shall we say.
Nice.
Because I ran a test here and Margaret was my canary in the coal mine, and it basically killed her. So with the live stream and stuff, we're heading to Christmas. We do every day at 1:00. This is a reminder for all of you. And I was trying to talk to John today, but he was so busy working on his conference. He didn't hear me quite right. So Claris made Tahoe and bug fixes available for Pro and Go. That was about 2 weeks ago, 22.04. 22.04 server has not shipped yet. John, don't
I got it.
Tahoe. And because it goes right. And so
I found that out.
Next Tuesday it's supposed to ship.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, I will let you know that the QA work on the remote backup has not gone as well as we all had hoped. And so that is sliding. So the release of the remote backup is been pulled. And so they announced this largely. I just don't want everyone to be all wound around the axle because they have to have a pricing plan because you're going to pay them. I haven't even heard anything about that.
Did they pull that so that they can get the server compatibility with Tahoe in place?
Correct.
And Tuesday. Richard and I talked about that earlier. I actually had a crash on an install at a real estate client last week, and so we just pushed it off till a week from next Saturday after it's out so we can do it right.
Yeah, so they're going to have that fix, and then I think, to my understanding, that's the last release we'll see this year. Next releases next year. We'll start with it'll be called 26, and there's going to be a little bit more incremental dribble of quality of life features. I think is what Ryan's intent is. So we will see, at least at the Pro and probably Go level, you'll probably see little, more frequent updates, kind of, because they've been slowing down. Then are they going to speed up? Because they're slowing down to about what's one big one a year, right? Which was so much for the agile stuff, right? So,
right.
So that was
yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
I want to
I
pick
stuck
up on
around just long enough to say, Richard, you are correct that we don't really fully know how to embrace AI and FileMaker and do it something a client would want. I've been working with Michael Wallace to help get some of his brain into me, and it's challenging. I'm trying. And lastly, Vince, love the hat.
So I got a use of AI. I just want to kind of give you the short notes here. I dropped the link. I've been paying attention to the AI, and I've yet to have a customer ask me for AI, but I do have a use. I bumped into, actually, a buddy of mine sent me, hey, check out Google's Notebook LM. LM stands for language model, I guess. And so I dropped a link. I played around with 4 different notebooks, they're called. The one I dropped is a little self-serving in that it's presentations that I've done for DIGFM, and it addresses something that I think affects all of us: the ability to consume the fire hose of FileMaker content. So this particular tool that I've been playing with for a couple of days enables you to put a collection of data sources, whether they're YouTube videos, PDFs, web pages, text, or whatever, and do one of 8 things. I'll give you the ones that are useful. The mind map is useful. And if you click the link, I got a green light you, which I will do. I'll give you editor privileges. You can play, but it'll make a mind map, a quiz, a flashcard, a stupid podcast audio. Ignore that. But to me, it's very clever in terms of consuming content. And that's the use of LI in a somewhat tangential
Tony,
way.
is this you? Tony, who's
Thank you,
talking?
Tony.
That was me.
Tony.
Yeah, come on the
Tony.
show and tell us about that.
I will. And Richard, just full disclosure, Richard invited me to be on the show January. I said yes, and I sent you the email, which you or your team has gotten, right? Did you get my email?
We got it. Margaret was supposed to reply back to you, Margaret.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah,
You
you're
can- by the way,
gonna
you
be
can-
more
you
than
can-
one day. You can't listen. You have too much shit to say, right?
Well,
it
I'm
won't
there, as
fit in
long
one
as-
day. It won't fit in one day.
You guys plan ahead. You got to make fun of me for not having a microphone, so you can do
Even
comedy
a
bits.
camera.
We will ship you a microphone.
No, it's
Well,
the
Amazon
camera.
drop ship that
A
thing.
camera.
The
I'm in a
Camera too?
I'm in a skiff. I'm in a skiff.
No, he's got the microphone.
What the hell?
We
We're
never
gonna have to
see him on
pass the
video.
hat. What kind of BS is this? I can't
I'm in a
believe
skiff.
it.
I'm coming to you out of a Faraday cage.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Richard. I have to go to another meeting. I have to drop off if you guys don't mind. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Bye, John.
Hi,
Take care.
John.
Bye.
Yeah, and don't forget, I'm on your show next Friday, Richard.
Oh no, he just left.
He's
He
gone.
dropped. I think he.
He's gone.
Okay.
What,
When
something
is
I
that?
said.
Next Friday, the 19th.
Oh, okay.
Are you going to talk about Migrator, your FM Migrator?
I'm going to talk about the FM Pro Clipboard Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Cool
yeah.
tool
That-
for copying, like AI generated scripts.
That was free, right?
Yep, that's free. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
I got bumped from the schedule because it was the day that they released the most recent version of FileMaker Pro, and so we rescheduled.
yeah.
But that'll be next week on the 19th.
Yeah. 19th.
So we had like 3 people jump off all at once.
Yeah.
Who was it? John? Oh,
We
Mike's
got
still here.
Darren came back. That's good.
John and Richard. Yeah. And who else? Oh, Barbara left? No, she's still
Barbara's
here.
still here.
We had 11. I'm trying to remember who the other person
This
was.
is Vaughn. I'm Penguin. I'm still here. I'm just listening and learning.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. I've been here the whole time, just letting Richard do his thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
I signed up this week to be a sponsor for Full Access next year.
Already.
Thank you.
Cool.
You.
I didn't even know they were doing that.
You're quite welcome. Well, I have a deadline.
Already.
I wanted to get this into this calendar year for tax purposes. And so,
Did you approach them?
well, we've been talking about it. And so I had to wait until I could double check my end of year finances. And I had enough budget to do it. I mean, it's a stretch, for my budgets, but I decided that I wanted to support them. And I'm happy to support them. And so my bank is in the process of sending out a check, which they should get within a week.
Yeah,
That's
we
cool.
we appreciate that. One of the things that was a real time crunch here is getting Claris to commit to sponsorship as fast as possible, because if we didn't get the sponsorship, we would have to revise the way we're doing things. That would mean a change in sponsorship levels and everything else. And you're not the only one who said, yeah, I want to pay for sponsorship before the end of the year for tax purposes. And so, we worked really hard to get Claris to commit, and so that we could turn around and commit to the venue and get all these ducks in a row. And I'm happy to do that. And now it's our getting Ron Cates to get us up and running for registration, which I think opens up tomorrow, but don't hold me to it. Yeah, it was been a very challenging first half of December to get this all in a row.
I keep finding out all
It's
this
great.
stuff.
It's great that you guys already have nailed the place and everything.
Mhm.
Super.
It's looking like it's going really well.
Yeah, I
You
hope.
gonna,
I
you
hope we
gonna
get a
come,
lot more
Tony?
sponsors. I hope we get a lot more spots
That would involve leaving New York.
because
You can take a train.
it's
Oh,
really
that'd be nice, actually. Scenic.
So
Sorry.
are you
Sorry,
going,
David,
Tony?
Go ahead.
I'm going to actually take one of the bullet trains, the yet to be developed bullet trains.
I think it's built up.
Actually, I was thinking of my life is topsy-turvy. For the record, we're being recorded. I'm the president of a New York, Brooklyn-based condominium. I got to tell you, that is a job.
Dump them for a week.
The whole thing would fall apart. No, I'm just kidding. You can't imagine how many projects there are.
I feel you,
in
Tony.
building.
Yeah, I'm on the committee here at the building. We have 600 apartments across 3 towers. We're basically running a $50 million company every year, and
Yep.
it's 8 of us doing it as a volunteer.
Yeah, it's like 100 different
Wow.
projects between this, that, and the other thing.
Huh.
So I didn't want to presume, Darren, but where are you located?
Melbourne.
Okay, so
Oh wow!
Australia,
You just walked there, huh?
so I wanted to ask, and are you part of the team that did the
Reconnect?
the conference down there?
Reconnect.
Or
No,
are
the
you-
other boys are yeah, I'm on the side of that one.
Uh-huh.
I talk regularly with David Head, and Nick Orr, and also Stu, and of course Andrew. So the 4 of them do a great job in running the setup.
Mhm.
And again, there's a lot of work for them to put that together.
Oh,
A lot of unpaid hours. They don't do it for profit. So yes, and we're off to Christchurch, New Zealand next year.
oh, nice. Nice.
Wait, I thought you were in New Zealand.
Aussie.
Who's New
Aussie,
Zealand?
Aussie. No, Darren's Australian, right? Aussie, Aussie.
He's messing
Yeah,
with me. No,
Wait, who's New
No,
Zealand?
wait, Darren, I thought you were British.
No.
Now we're dialing it up.
we're
I'm sort of
convicts out here, mate.
curious, how many came to that conference?
Yeah, from a numbers
120,
point of view,
140?
we get anywhere between 100 and 120.
Mhm.
We're getting people from all around APAC. We have had Ryan come down and see us. Clay has come down and see us.
Mhm.
There was a few that had come down this year. Robert Halsey came down this year. So we do get a number of people on different Claris positions coming. We had a guy actually came down from Japan who sponsored it off his own bat without a company. He just loved the conference, so he decided to come down.
Mhm.
So yes, we get around 100, 120 each time.
Do you get anybody? Do you get a lot of people from the Americas?
Just those couple of Claris people.
Yeah.
And there's we didn't realize how far it is to fly down here, type of idea, to come this far. And the jet lag you get each way.
It's a big ask.
Yeah. Alexis came to Brisbane. She came down from Toronto. I've gone blank. Vince, you've come to see us too.
Yeah, not this past year, but the year before. Yeah.
Yeah, you came to Sydney. Yeah.
Well, it's one of the
Yeah, so
big.
we've had
It was
Brisbane.
No, when was it? Where was it last year?
We were in Melbourne, and then the year before
Yeah,
was Brisbane, and then the year before was
So it must
you were
have
in
been Brisbane.
you were in Brisbane, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the debates that we had for the full access conference is how many days should we hold the conference? And, my argument was people are paying plane fare to get to us. Let's not do a quick turn and burn. Let's give them 3, 4 days of conference. But then I also heard the reverse. I think I heard the reverse argument from Vince about, well, we don't want our employees gone that long. I don't know if that was you who said that, but
I don't think it was
it's
me
a balancing
necessarily.
act. Yeah. So we're setting it up this year so that the Monday is kind of an optional day. We're not going to do our little keynote probably until either Monday evening or Tuesday morning, but to do basically concurrently a developer on-ramp, or we're hopefully going to get younger developers in there. And it's not going to be FileMaker basics, but kind of more of how can we step up your game a little bit type of stuff. Go into could go into various things like introduction to anchor buoy and things like that. We haven't locked anything down, but subjects that are a little bit past beginner because we figured nobody's going to come there that has zero experience. But then concurrently we would run some other sessions, such as we'd probably repeat our session on how to do presentations, and maybe some other kind of curriculum that of interest. We have yet to figure that out. So kind of making that Monday sort of a kind of like almost like the pre-conference that you would see at DevCon. You would have one day in advance. So, but we haven't hammered out all those details yet. But I think it allows people to come in on Monday. Their flight may come in on Monday. They don't have to worry about missing something really important unless the subject matter is of interest to them.
Yeah, we have 2 days with the Reconnect, and I can tell you a lot of us here in APAC would not fly to the States for a 2-day conference. When it takes us almost a good 24 hours on an 18-hour flight to get there.
Yeah.
And then you need a day or two to get over the jet lag and then the conference. So from an APAC point of view, coming to the States, it's a 2-week trip. It's a 2-week out of your year. And we try to tack on some time to catch up with clients and comrades from other parts of the community over there as well. I've spent some time with David Wheelock in Huntington Beach, riding bikes along the beach down there when we had the Vegas trip. So we did the car trip from Vegas back to Huntington Beach when the surf conference on, around the time that Mick Fannin punched the shark. So you got to understand how Australians dealt with sharks. So there's, it makes a full trip. And we're looking forward to Christchurch to get across to New Zealand. You make the most of it.
Well, that was our other thought about the Asilomar facility, is that not only holding it in mid to late August, it is a vacation destination. You can bring your family to this. Could not do that when we held at the Jesuit Retreat Center, but this could be a launching pad for vacation for family.
And it's starting to look quite attractive when there's no Engage this year as well.
Yeah.
So it's where we're heading with these conferences.
Why there's no Engage, it's lots of rumors about that. I really can't speak to that. But the only thing I can tell you is with conversations with Rick Coleman, I think they recognize that the last 2 engages that they held weren't satisfactory to most people because the Apple campus did not make for great downtime and great schmoozing and conferencing, that they're going to go back to the kind of the DevCon sort of venue of having, everybody under one hotel roof or one resort somewhere and allow people to make those kind of connections.
Mhm.
It seems like it's sorting out in a good way. I think the regional less wear and tear conferences happening seems good.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, international travel took a massive hit recently. And gosh knows, I don't blame the people from Australia not coming. I was always amazed you guys made the journey to the States.
Yeah, we'll see how we go with our passports and our social media from now on.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not a great time for traveling from one country to another.
And we had several cancellations because we had, one person told us, from Canada, even from Canada, says they didn't want to come to the United States. They were fearful. Whether rightfully or wrongly, that was something that we had a couple cancellations due to people not wanting to come into the U.S. And hopefully that mellows out, but who knows?
Yeah, we do have family and friends that have been stopped and asked to show 5 years worth of social media, including their parents' social media as well, just to make sure that your views agree with the TSA.
And I heard this.
Which country? Sorry, that was asking that.
The USA.
He said
US,
TSA, so
US.
I'm thinking transportation. I
So
saw that in the
he's-
news the other day. There does seem to be a push for censorship worldwide. I don't want to name any particular countries, but I've heard of people being put into jail for their social media, which I'm against. We're being recorded. I
Well,
think that's ridiculous.
yeah,
Huh.
no, but I mean, and I remember a friend of mine
We'll let them
traveling to
respond.
China. This was like 15 years ago,
Oh
20 years
yeah,
ago. And he was told, whatever you do, don't do these things or don't, mention this or whatever. You
right.
can go, you can get arrested.
Yes,
It's
yes.
like you,
I
you
know
take it
guys
for
on their rest
granted.
list already, and they can't go there. So
Yeah.
Well, we
yeah.
sort of
So
expect that from China, for better or worse. It just seems to some other countries that
I'm
yeah,
talking about the US TSA. I'm talking about coming into America.
Mhm.
sure,
Yeah.
and not the
mhm.
only country that's doing censorship. I'm not in favor of
Oh, yep.
any
Well,
of it.
well, the reality is Washington State, where I live, which is on the, in case you don't know, is on the border of Canada. Tourism from Canada is down 30%.
Wow.
Uh, so it is what it is.
Is it in both
Mhm.
directions or just one? Because I'm.
I
Oh,
believe
wait,
it's
wait. Here's
primarily,
Barbara's waving.
believe it's in one direction, and that's coming into the United States. We have family up in Canada. We don't hesitate going up in Canada and coming back. We've had
Oh,
no issues
she's just
whatsoever.
waving goodbye.
I think there is some truth to the fact that if you're not U.S. born, there's a more hassle coming in. But I think a big part of it's also just perception.
Well, I've been adverse to travel
Yeah.
for quite a while.
And
But one
for and
day I
for
shall travel.
and for Canadians, they really object to the current administration's stance on
Maple syrup.
what Canada should be to the U.S. The fact that they pull all U.S. product off their shelves and all their products are labeled made in Canada right now.
I bet we're still buying their oil.
Maple
The
syrup.
Alberta tar sands.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're getting into political stuff. We're probably not
We are.
Yeah,
gonna
Ma-
come to an
Just
agreement.
yeah.
Can we
Have to
just
have the
agree
fit
that
this
the
into my
world is
database.
in a little bit of a topsy-turvy place?
Oh, absolutely. I'll agree with that.
Make a database of the world's problems and
Yeah.
And
Can
that
I
New
ask about
Yorkers.
the maple syrup? Because the news that we get down here is that
I
the
don't know.
top
That's
four brands.
pretty treacherous ground to go to. But all right, let's
It
give it a
is.
go.
It is. The top four manufacturers of maple syrup in the US don't actually use maple syrup. They use high fructose corn syrup. And so
except when we
it's
buy
not even
maple
maple
syrup.
syrup.
There's a lot of
So
that going around with honey, olive
Oh,
oil, and maple syrup.
So I used to joke because I'm originally from Quebec, and Quebec wanted to separate itself from Canada. I used to
Right.
joke that, like, if Quebec were to separate, we have no problem because we have the, great exports. We can export power, we can export maple syrup and French fries.
French fries.
Yeah, puts in. If you've ever had puts in, it's like
Poutine,
it's
yeah.
it's puts in. It's like melted cheese and gravy and French fries. It's like heart attack food.
Yeesh.
It's just
Like
intense.
they're getting ready to hibernate up there.
So you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
get you can get real maple syrup, out of Vermont and that sort of thing. But if you just
Tiny though.
kind of look on the
Imported from
standard
Montreal.
store shelves, there's a lot of really bad maple syrup product out there. The U.S. does not have real stringent standards when it comes to this stuff.
In Quebec, that maple syrup used to be called sirop de poteau.
Hmm.
It
Sounds
means
terrible.
syrup from telephone poles.
Hmm.
I have some friends who are
Tastes
smuggling
like
Fruit
fruitcake.
Loops from Canada because Canada, to its credit, I'm going to say some nice things about Canada. In the United States of America, we had this really nutty health policy of allowing like red dye number 5 or whatever, all these like synthetic dyes.
That's
And so
gross.
the Fruit Loops are super brightly colored in America, whereas in Canada, if they want blue, they use blueberries. It's absolutely insane that the US was allowing carcinogenic dyes.
Nah, it looks dingy without all those dyes.
When I was in my 20s, I worked at a food processing plant called Nally's, which was very famous in the Northwest. But they also prepared canned food for export to Canada, and the standards were higher. What they
Yeah.
had to
No,
do to
America's got a
prepare.
horrible, horrible,
Yeah.
horrible health
Yeah.
and food system.
Mhm.
By the way, there is a maple syrup cartel up in Canada. Might want to
Yep.
look into that.
Figures.
Oh, look at the nice pictures.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see who we got here.
So I have so I have to
At the
present
back of
tomorrow.
Richard Carlton's head?
Yeah, I figured people could just guess who that is.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to spoil it.
But no, that's good. FM Disc tomorrow. I got to do a short presentation, kind of recap full access. So that's one of my slides.
Thank you, Eric, for putting us back on track.
Yes, we were getting lost in maple syrup. Oh my God.
Oh, it's a sticky
Oil.
subject.
An outrage.
I actually have some maple syrup in my fridge. Sorry, no, I don't.
Are you
Well,
sure
we do
that
too.
are you sure you have maple syrup in your
Ours is from
fridge?
Costco.
No. Oh
I don't know
boy.
what
Hey,
else were we going to talk about? Got like an hour still if we
oh,
wanted.
I want to say something.
Sure.
So I have one project I'm working on where I have like 250,000 records where we're putting them into a new structure,
Yeah.
and to pull the address information, like the typical thing that people who don't know how to build relational systems,
Yeah.
what they end up doing is, how many addresses do you think we'll need? Oh, maybe 10. Okay, so
10
address
what?
1, address 2, address
Oh, I
3,
hate no way.
yeah. So like, okay, there's all these addresses. Okay, and so we're trying to consolidate it into like a simpler structure, a more relational structure. But
Yep.
anyway, we're pulling the data using OData to fetch it out of an older file. And so for every record, we have some identifier that we can go and fetch the address information, blob, kind of put it together in the right format, and then stick it in the new field. And 250,000 records, about 100,000 into the process, and all of a sudden it's like it's hung. It's like
Oh, data,
I
huh?
had to force quit. OData, yeah, OData. I had to force quit. I I booted up again. I got in. I tried to use it. It didn't work. It got stuck again.
Same place.
And was no, not the same place, because I just tried to use it on one record. The OData did not work anymore. So then I tried to turn off the database server, turn it on again. I went back in. It still didn't work. Then I went into OData, just turned it off and turned it on again, and then it worked. But
Even
really,
after you did a restart of the server?
Yeah, well, not a restart of the machine, just the database,
Uh,
stop database server, start it.
uh,
But that only stops the
the
SASE
ser
process, or
yeah.
database process,
It
whatever.
doesn't restart the OData service.
Yeah, so
Huh.
by turning it off and turning it on again, but I wonder if it's a memory leak or something, and I wonder how you check that. I don't know how to check that,
So it
but
worked on your second
um,
pass?
well, once I stopped it and started again, then it just started working again. But I didn't go through the 200,000 records again, because I didn't start that process again. But what's interesting is, if that's the case, then when it's hairballed, they should put something in front of it that says, here, let me first check if it's running, because if it isn't running, then if I send you a request, you're going to get, what was weird is I didn't get the colorful beach ball. I got the blue beach ball. And I don't know what the difference is between, maybe David, what is the difference between a blue beach ball and a colorful beach ball on Mac OS?
Ooh,
David?
I'm not sure. I
Oh,
don't think I've.
it's the Mac, right?
The color
Yeah, on a Mac. It's a Mac. Yeah.
I think
sounds like
the,
a quality of life issue.
I think the colored beach ball is
Oh,
OS level. The blue beach ball might very well be something designed by an application.
I think they removed red number 5 from that one.
Hold on, I'm going to see if artificial intelligence knows the answer.
Okay. Let me know.
I've
Asking
just
for
looked as
So
directions.
well there,
anyway,
Tony.
What kind of man are you?
What's that?
It's the blue spinning beach ball is Mac OS's way of saying I'm busy. So it's the operating system saying it's busy
Huh.
rather than the application layer.
The application is color?
Huh.
I think so, yeah.
Thought it would be the other way around, but yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Vince, I had a
So,
similar thing.
How are we supposed
yeah.
to know that?
I had a
No,
client who,
sorry.
who
No, you go.
had
You go.
data API
Tony,
running.
Huh?
Tony, go ahead.
No, I
no,
got
no,
nothing to say.
go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
was going to make a joke, but it wasn't funny.
The client was already running a data API to get to the system, and the IT department wanted to update to OData. So I thought I'd give that an option, but the IT department's gateway is always to go through Postman first. So I wasn't using FileMaker to hit the OData or any of that sort of thing. I was just hitting the OData feed via the Postman. And Vince, I had a similar experience to you. I just couldn't get any data out of it, and it just kept churning, whether I turned it on or turned it off. But then I also found, obviously, the caveat is I didn't build this system. There were so many unstored calcs in the table that it was just choking on the records. And unlike the data API where you say, I just want these 10 fields to go to this system, they're all stored, they are all indexed, let that data API hit it. OData seemed to want to grab the whole table. I could not come up with a permission set for OData to say it's almost like it gives it everything and then reduces it down for the permission set. I don't know. I had a similar thing as you, Vince. I gave up.
Hey, but by the way,
honestly, they should have something that prevents it from getting into that beach ball. They should have some way to check it, like it's running. Okay, so let me send the request, and then you should, it should time out or whatever, do the proper thing. But if it isn't running, don't send it, because you can't connect to it, and then you're in this kind of weird state where, like, I can't get out of it. I have to force quit, etc. So
Yeah, that's
anyway, I hope they
it's
fix
always
it.
been kind of an issue. So the operating system isn't predicting a freeze, and then you get a freeze, it has no way to write to a log. And so what if there's some way that you can test for pressure on the system so that you're close to reaching some very volatile state, that would be great. But
it's like
that's a big
a
ask.
fusion reactor.
Yeah.
Well, this is a bit concerning because Clay was telling us that OData is going to become the basis for ODBC.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
And so if that's going to be the foundation, that's a problem.
yeah,
it needs to work.
Yeah. Yeah. It needs to work reliably all the time
Right.
for no matter how many friggin' records. So
Well, and it's not only going to be ODBC, but I'm sure JDBC as well. So there are mirroring tools like MirrorSync that use JDBC. So
yeah.
when he says they're going to use it as the basis for ODBC, I would think it'd be the basis for JDBC's connectivity as well. I would think.
Oh, he did say that as well. And I don't even know how they're going to pull that off, honestly, because it's like it's JDBC on top and OData underneath. I don't know.
Is that gonna slow down ODBC?
Well, put it this way. We had built a taco connector that was using JDBC.
Yeah.
And when I thought, okay, well, seeing as the future is OData, let me try connecting through OData to pull the data over. It was like horrendously slow. I mean, JDBC was lightning fast. OData is like, don't bother,
Yeah, because
So
I look at a lot of those newer standards and they look like really verbose. They've got like a lot of information in there that I mean I'm just looking at comparing to things like tab delimited files, right? All you've got is a tab between everything, and there's really not much information. It just has to be do with placement, and then we have all these other things like XML that just tell you what every little thing is all the way through. Um, it's just they seemed a bit well, if bandwidth is ever a problem, it seemed a bit wasteful.
One thing, if you're running this on a Mac, it wouldn't hurt to have the activity monitor running so you can watch to
Mm.
see if certain
yeah,
CPU usage or RAM usage is scaling up.
yeah, I should do that next time. I should run it there or keep an eye on something. Someone tells me what to watch out for. I can
Hmm.
kind of look for that. But
Oh,
anyway,
so why did you use
um,
OData and to convert, import that into a new table, right? I mean, like I would have just habitually just old
oh
school. I would have
well,
just done multiple imports through FileMaker into that table.
it's because the data needed to be kind of rejiggered, and so I pull all the things that I want, and then I stick them together in a new way, and then I put them in a different record
Oh,
because they. So, I mean, I think you're right. I could probably export the data and figure out another way to do it. But I thought, oh, okay, let me try this. I mean, it is the future, so I
mm,
should probably spend some time learning about it
I see.
and using it. So
So
anyway,
it was really more of an exercise, not a like
There's an
necessarily.
old
It
saying,
wasn't necessarily going to be more efficient or anything like that.
the
well, it
future isn't
was
what it
yeah,
used to be. I have to
yep,
take off.
All right, Mike,
yep.
thanks for
Okay.
coming.
Bye-bye.
Good to have you.
Bye,
Bye.
Mike.
Bye-bye.
Fine.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do
Yeah.
some performance optimization if they're going to be using OData for the for the underpinnings of ODBC and JDBC, because
Hmm.
you would hope that you wouldn't notice a difference. I mean, if it's done right, if that's the kind of change they're making. But you know, I'm concerned. Well, I'm concerned about REST APIs replacing things like ODBC and JDBC. Because, for instance, I've been doing testing with a hosted Postgres database scenario, and
Hmm.
basically, it's what's happening behind the scenes is it's all doing REST API behind the scenes. And I literally can notice the difference. It's like, oh yeah, I'm transferring data, and well, in fact, I'm like using a tool like Navicat, and I'm going out, to get data out of the Postgres database, and it's like, okay, I noticed that, and I know that that's what they're doing behind the scenes is they're doing some kind of a REST API, and it's like, okay, well, you know,
Hmm.
I can tell that now maybe it's a little bit imaginary because okay, it's one of these hosted services, that while the service might be in England. So okay, if that's the case, maybe, but I'm just a little bit squeamish about, everything becoming a REST API.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope they're not replacing things that are faster with things that are trendy, that are like the latest thing.
Yeah, I think Clay said that they knew that they would have to do some performance optimizations behind the scene.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, let's hope that takes place. Because for a while, I was concerned that they were replacing ODBC and JDBC with OData. But then at the Full Access conference, he was able to explain in more details. And it's like, no, it's just going to become the foundation. But one positive thing is I was talking with him at lunch and I said, oh, well, that means that you're going to have to bring OData over to the FileMaker Pro client if that's going to be the underpinnings. And he said, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Because right now you can only run OData on the server. So I always use ODBC locally when I'm working with databases as much as I can. So
we'll get an execute OData API.
Yeah, you would be able to do OData connectivity directly to FileMaker Pro on your desktop, which could be helpful for testing, and development purposes if you don't want to go out to a server. So they hadn't gotten quite that far enough along yet. And he says, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we'll need to bring that down to the client.
Yep.
So people probably already know this, or maybe they don't. Tomorrow, your colleagues down there in the Los Angeles area, the FM Disc group, got John Renfro. He's been digging deep into the OData, so he's presenting again. Probably take some questions if you like.
Oh.
And he did.
David may have some answers he doesn't have.
I asked John, he did a 5-day presentation with Richard Carlton. I asked him if he could distill it down to a single 8.5 by 11 page infographic. He said no.
Well, then it doesn't belong in FileMaker.
Well, he doesn't have to do it. You'll do it.
I was going to say, yeah, Tony, this is a challenge.
I need help. I need help.
Throws the gauntlet down.
No,
you got this, Tony.
Actually,
you got it.
So true story. A family member, a recent family member, because he married one of my family members, so that makes him a family member, is a talented fellow in data science. He's done some artificial intelligence stuff. And he also has done some data visualization stuff. So he's got technical chops. And I'm seeing him on Sunday as part of a family celebration. And I was going through, I have a giant stack of unreleased infographics, unreleased because they're not really ready for prime time. We try to only release stuff that is not embarrassing. But I got to tell you, it's a big stack. It's like 50 to 100 pieces of paper. But the ones that get public at a DevCon back when they take a really long time to get, to the point that they're precise. But whatever, there's just a ton of information, which is why the notebook LM. And by the way, Vince, I got your DM. Here's how to get into one of these things. If you have a Google account, this is a Google product, so it seems to be prejudicial towards Google Gmail type accounts. I tried to put your thing, it didn't. But if you take that link that I dropped into the chat, and if you're logged in with Google and say, I can't get here, I'm sure you have a Gmail account. I'm guessing you do. Then I'll get an email and I'll give you editor privilege so you can play. And I already gave Darren his. Everybody who asked. Yeah.
I mean, when you sent it, like you sent this like a month ago or something like that, I tried it, and I poured in what was it? I like Eric. I did those 3 talks on transactions last year, the year before, and all
Yeah.
that. I took 3 of them and
Yep.
I popped it in there, and it had the one voice like, "Did you know the transactions are real?" Oh, really? Like they had this banter between 2 people, and it did a podcast for 15 minutes,
But it's
and it
other
was
people's
like
voices. Yeah.
other people's voices.
Yeah.
I mean, it's astounding how 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 much it was able to synthesize. Like most of those talks were over an hour and a half, and it was astounding that it synthesized the core details of the main talking points in like 15 minutes.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah,
And so it did a good job on yours then?
I did. I for what I listened to, it did an excellent job.
Huh. Yeah,
It did
So
I was listening to the one that Tony did, and it sounded like I was listening to it. It sounds like a lot of filler in this one.
yeah,
'Cause
I'm gonna say something controversial. I'm a New Yorker. That's my job.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
when I and oh, hold on just one second. I'm as usual. I have a lot of computers. This is just one of them. The I'm new here. Hold on. I'm trying to make this go away. There we go. Okay, so these are the things the tool does, and I'm going to give you my opinion. I think that uh, the user interface could be like if you click on something, I think it should ask before it runs off and makes a derivative document. That said, in my opinion, the mind map, I like the icons, I like the use of color. The mind map is useful. Um, the
Mhm.
the 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 podcast was useful if you're going to take like a PDF and turn it into something to listen on the car. Because it hallucinates and because it edits out, I don't personally don't like it. The Fun FileMaker facts here, target audience. I think this is kind of cool. Hold on. The ability to take a 1 hour video and then have it, do a mind map and then be able to click on the terminal node and then have it search the contents of the YouTube video. So it's extracting
Mhm.
the YouTube video. And then, I mean, to me, that's cool. So that's my favorite. Make a mind map, drill down, find the part that
Mhm.
you care about. I thought
Mhm.
that was clever. The other one I thought was clever. So I made fun of the audio, although, they're very pleasant sounding people and they're not really people. The FileMaker flashcard seems clever. Uh, and Vince, to your point, it's like, how the heck do they do this? And how much electricity is it using? So in the anchor buoy model, what visual tip helps differentiate table occurrence based on their color? Anyone like to venture a guess? If you attended the presentation. And by the way, I use my
Oh,
content because I
mhm.
kind of knew the answers. You know, it's who said color? That's correct. Color the table. Here's another one. What's called, perform? These are all the Fun FileMaker facts turned
Oh,
into
that's neat.
flashcards. I think that's clever.
Okay.
The quiz seemed potentially clever. Oh, no, see, I clicked
Mhm.
the button quiz, and now it's making a quiz because I apparently don't learn that when you click on something,
It generates it, auto
it
generates
generates
it.
it. And it should ask, like, did you mean to generate a quiz? And I'm like, no, but here's a quiz that I pre-generated according to the presentation. What's the primary benefit of using colors? Hold on, automatically. It's one of these. It's a required. No, it improves the performance. No, visual cue. B. I say B. And it says you are correct. Did it say I'm correct? No, that's right. Yay. Okay, I'm so proud of myself. So the mind map is useful, the flashcards are useful, the quiz is useful. The infographic is garbage. Um, it's clever, it's pretty, it's stupid.
But it's not Tony.
No, it's just ridiculous.
Oh, it looks pretty.
It's pretty
It
and
is
it's
pretty, yeah.
ridiculous
It's nice.
because it's
Well,
you take
it's too bubble gummish.
yeah, and it throws out stuff. So it's diminish
Hmm.
hard work. Okay, so that was the infographic. That's
Just
garbage.
out of curiosity, does it take input so you can correct things like that, or is it just you get what you get?
That's a good question. I don't know. The podcast, you can actually interact with the podcast. You can actually join that ridiculous
Become a yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
Oh, that's
You
cool.
could join the conversation and it adapts as you participate in it. It's mind blowing how
Pretend
they
like you have
did
friends.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those are, I mean, to me, that's AI abuse. Should be illegal. Maybe it will be. Here's the
Yeah.
slideshow.
Did you go
Once
out?
again, pretty. Look at all the lines. It's bubblegumish, and it's
I like
all.
it. I like it.
It is pretty. Like you'll give it that. It's pretty.
At the very least, you could pretend like you did something.
You could
Wow.
like, oh, look at, but it's
Look
garbage.
look how hard I worked.
You could send
It's
that.
gar
You could send that to upper
Yeah.
management. They'll
Oh
probably.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
if you're
go back
working
to
for the
that slide
Dilbert
deck.
the Dilbert
No, wait,
Corporation.
go back
Hold
to
on, should
that
I
slide
click
deck.
here or should I click down here? Just kidding.
No, down here, please. Where's the slide deck? What's the first slide?
Okay. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I clicked on the
No,
wrong
the
one.
first slide.
No, that's the infographic. You wanted the
Okay.
slide deck? Hold on, let me find your
Yeah.
slide deck here.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, also
Tony,
you
do
can't
you
edit
mind?
the names.
Yeah. The
Hold on one
developer's
second.
Tony,
philosophy.
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Hold on. Question
Do
from
you mind?
Australia.
Do you mind taking this video and putting it back through the system to see what happens recursively?
Translation of a translation.
I think the world would blow up.
Developers.
Okay, here's the
FileMaker
slideshow, and then the developer's journey.
Maestri.
Nice job on the
Maestri?
spelling of FileMaker.
Oh,
Yeah.
what the heck?
At least they
Yeah.
capped the M.
It wasn't a
Maybe
Zoom glitch then, huh?
could be. The path to FileMaker is a process of continual refinement. I mean, this is all just hallucination.
Wow. But it looks really big and
It
important.
looks beautiful.
Clearly,
beautiful.
the path to
I
FileMaker
guess we'll
mastery.
buy FileMaker now.
First, make an infographic.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then,
go
anyway.
buy FileMaker and then call Claris and say, how come the connector, I don't see where this is. And
So this is dangerous, toxic.
What?
Anyway,
Oh,
this
wow.
is ridiculous.
Oh, you have to point out things because I'm not reading that.
Well, I mean, I know the content. I purposely picked content that I produced.
So
With
if this is going to replace conferences and meetings like this, Tony, where's the button for the jokes and the comedy and the classic one-liners that you just don't get without a scenario
All
like
right,
this?
I'll play the audio.
all
on.
right.
Here you go. Here's these two lunatics.
Can you change their style, or this just one
Let's
style?
unpack this. We are diving into a fantastic collection of sources today.
We are.
It's a user presentation that's been
I am.
She's
All
way
right,
too happy.
All right, I'm corrected. I stand corrected.
high leverage FileMaker tips.
Okay, so
Oh, I
There's a
love
bit of
it.
sarcasm in there too, I think.
if you like buzzwords, it's for you.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a deep dive.
Yeah. I just went to a manager meeting. That's great.
It just needs a little bit of, what is it? Like, you have the color, so you can say, oh, do this
Yes.
podcast in the sound of like someone speaking on a radio, AFM radio,
Oh, actually,
Oh,
hold on.
just
Hold
have
on.
the-
I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's it. I want the Bert and Ernie filter put over it, but they're to talk in the style
These are
of
just for
Trump.
beginners, right?
Whoops.
These are the kind
And
of
Biden.
architectural insights.
Sorry about that.
yeah.
It would have been too advanced, and you all have editor access if you ask for it.
Really?
You can. Well, anyone who clicked on the link and said, I want to access, I gave everyone editor, so you can whatever.
Mm.
And I'm not 100% sure how to, what's
Change
that
the
word called?
voice.
No, how to interact with it. So I would probably flub this, but I'll show you something kind of cool. So, on the board of the condominium,
There we go.
and then I can ask this a question, by typing, not my strong suit.
He's super whisper.
Produce a grid of pricing. Okay, let's see if we can do that. So
It was mentioned.
I think we already know that it's a tool. So if I loaded, and I did load all this, these are software as service companies that catered to the co-op and condo market and rental properties. I don't even know. Well, anyway, there was a big pile of research to be done, and I loaded all these companies, and I could, in theory, copy this text here and use it as a starting point. So here's another one, produce, starting point. That's a key takeaway. Oh, produce, okay, produce a grid of features. I spent my high school playing pool, not taking typing lessons. Okay.
That's
I was just
fine.
waiting for the spell correct to produce a grid of features. Anyway, that's pretty cool. This particular content that the chat is scoped to the user. I think the content on the right, where there's like these are compiled results and whatever, that I'm pretty sure, Darren, if you're in, you can see these things, maybe. Oh, I didn't give you, this
Yeah.
is a different one. Hold on, a different one.
No,
But
I'm
anyway,
in the DIGFM
yeah, the
one.
other
Yep.
one. Yeah. Anyway, if anyone is interested in, actually, Darren, I'll invite you to this. Here, I'll drop this in. And
That one,
if
yes, please. Yes,
yeah,
actually.
property management, that actually would be useful.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions? Any questions for me
No.
or for the artificial intelligence overlords?
I mean,
I just want to add, we started to talk about this before we started recording. And I think the context of part of it was I sat through the whole hour of the Claris community that was talking about when downtime costs real money, because I wanted to put some content out about FileMaker DR shutting down the server when it's, filed gently. And I didn't want to just recreate the wheel, but I wanted to make sure that was on the same tone. And I sat through the whole hour taking notes. Tony, you're putting this forward to say, watch it for the full hour and ask it the key points.
Yeah.
But are they the key points that I want, or are they the key points that AI thinks that the general person watching this is going to want? Because there's a real context for what I want to do to what you're showing us here now.
So, yeah, I don't know. And it's a good question. But that said, here's the entire video that Darren mentioned early on in the call. Perhaps not everyone was on the call, so I just loaded it into this thing to be able to present. And there's a mind map, and then just repeating here something said before. If I go here and I say, "Oh, I want to know about ransomware attacks," and then it's going to access the text from the transcript. YouTube does a transcript. YouTube is owned by Google. And here's content pulled straight out.
Generated for that.
Yeah, I think it's probably YouTube transcript text cleaned up and summarized.
And it's only using the content of the thing that you gave it, right?
Yeah, this is a single data source thing. When you build these things, and I say build, when you click on this button, it takes effort. You can specify the data sources. Here I have one data source. That said, I could, with the property management stuff, I access multiple data sources because I wanted to do feature comparison and price comparison. So and that's how, it's not much of a demo, but it's like
it's a little bit weird to have the data sources all the way on the left and then the generate button on the right, and then have the output come in the middle. It almost feels like if you're in kind of like in an English reading fashion, you would go left to right, which means here's the ones I want. In the middle, you'd have the studio thing in the middle, and then you'd say generate, this based on what I've selected on the left. It seems like awkward to have it kind of, spread out like that. But anyway, it's just me. I wonder
Yeah,
if you could move. I wonder if you could move it. Can you move Studio to the left?
that's a good question, actually.
No,
I'm
it
trying to do
doesn't
that,
move.
Vince. I don't think you can.
They didn't give you a
Yeah.
grabby thing. Although I think
No.
Google's got the
Yeah.
budget to make changes as they go.
Yeah.
You could probably scrape together some revenue.
But anyway, I played around with it. I was thoroughly impressed. I mean, I get impressed with small things. So
I think I was impressed. I'll say I'm not easily impressed. And I realize this is not like embedded into the FileMaker product. I do think that it's relevant to the FileMaker ecosystem. And oh, by the way, speaking of which, make that comment relevant. I'm going to prove it. The first thing that I loaded up was, there's Engage. There's a YouTube channel with the Engage for 2024. And since
all
it's
the
YouTube,
videos.
it's publicly accessible. And hey, look who presented this, Vince. So I loaded, I'm obviously on the free plan because that's the way I roll. And they allow you 50 sources. Fortunately, they didn't have, or maybe it's 25. Anyway, they had
50
less.
sources?
In the free plan, at the moment, they let you load something like 25 sources or 50 sources or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, I'm on free. And then here it is. And I just made some things from that. So in other words, I don't want to watch 25 videos at an hour apiece, nor could I. Oh, and by the way, Vince, I think this is you, inspection flashcards. That might be you.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay, all right, Vince, all right, and inspect, put you on the spot. What is the primary technology used to generate a solution?
XML, save a copy as XML. Save a copy as
All
XML.
right, you got 100%, and we'll stop there.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
it. You got a perfect
cool.
record.
Yeah.
Hey,
No,
can
I
you
mean,
ask it,
I
was
you know,
this a
like
good presentation? Can you ask it that?
Oh, what was the question?
Can you ask it if this was a good presentation? Should we invite the speaker back again?
8Ball says yes.
yeah, I mean, if this is AI and what it can do today and all the activity that's going on around stuff, imagine with all the energy, all the brains, all the AIs working on improving it. I mean, I cannot even imagine what this is going to be like in 5 or 10 years from now. It'll just be mind blowing.
Yeah, I remember like 80 years ago, they thought we'd be in flying cars too, though.
It's called Skynet, Vince.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push back. I feel strongly about this. Artificial intelligence is awesome in terms of gathering a lot of information and synthesizing it somewhat imperfectly. It's all derivative knowledge at the end of the day. There's nothing new. It's not bringing any new discoveries. Like if you think about the march of human knowledge across history, and you think like who was the first person to invent calculus? Bad example because apparently multiple people, but who was the first person to come up with gravity, Newton with an apple, or who knows? But across time, there's been all these scientific breakthroughs where knowledge emerged that didn't exist previously. And where does that come from? It doesn't come from AI, which is derivative. It comes from, I don't know, intuition, inspiration. It comes
but
from human qualities that don't exist.
Let me counter that for a moment and say, for example, I used it just because I'm exploring MCP, and so what I've done is
MCP stands for Model
Context Protocol.
Okay.
So it's a way to set up tools, and so I've defined a set of like required parameters, or as they like to say, maybe intents. And so, okay, here's an intent. I need to specify the name of the script and get me back the script as a document so I can have AI look at it. Now, what's interesting is and like this is in the context of inspector. What's interesting is inspector will find like, oh, this field is missing, this layout is missing, this script is missing. But the subtle aspect of like looking at code and understanding code and saying, hey, you have an if block over here, and that if block is this condition that checks the variable is equal to this, whatever. By the way, inside that if block, further down, like 100 steps down, you have another if block that is the same condition, and that's redundant because you've already tested it above. You don't need to have it over here. So that's kind of like, you wouldn't spot that. You would not see that, And so what I'm saying is AI might help human creativity find things it never thought of. And it says, hey,
Well,
you know what? If
well, yeah,
you,
but I think you're saying what Tony was saying though, it's just looking at things that already exist as they are.
right.
It's
But
not,
what I'm saying,
yeah.
no, but what I'm saying in addition to that is that if it comes across something that you might have overlooked or you didn't think of, it might think of combining those two and saying, hey, maybe you wanted to create fusion energy, but you didn't realize that, if you have the containment, plasma thing over here and you do it this way, it actually could work. And it, like what I'm saying is that I think the spark of creativity is it can come with with the help of AI.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
that's
would,
another way to
Vince,
put
I'm
it.
going to agree. As a tool, it, if AI serves as a tool that assists and lifts burdens, the kind of route, rote, yeah, rote
Groot.
things,
Groot.
and then liberates the
Mhm.
human mind to go where only the human mind can go, into the realm of imagination and intuition and so forth and so on, then I think it's good. Like as a tool, it's good. One of the interesting things, and Vince, I think that this fits into your thesis, is there's something called AlphaFold, where
Mhm.
they're basically doing like a massive brute force construction of proteins, searching for proteins that have utility. And I don't know too much about this, so don't quiz me. But it's proteins have complicated structures that result in biological functions. And I think this is a Google project, and I think it's called AlphaFold. Um, and it's, by Google. And they're just like trying to come up with proteins that have use. I hope that made some degree of sense.
Yeah, they just got a Nobel Prize. The guy who's the head of DeepMind just recently got a Nobel Prize for that. Yeah, for that research.
And that's
Wasn't that
useful.
research
Yeah.
done like a year or two ago or longer?
Oh, it was longer
I
than
see.
that. It took them
Oh,
a
yeah.
number of years to figure it out. I just watched a documentary not too long ago,
Okay.
and so they decided that, oh, now that we've figured this out, why don't we do like, all 100,000 of these different protein folds and just make it available open source to the community, and that's what they did.
Hmm.
But I think even if it doesn't get any better than it is right now, it's still very valuable to find a needle in a haystack. That I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just amazing. But I'm using it for code conversion, and I see it actually generating better code than the original. I mean, it's organizing code a little bit better. And it's adding comments that never existed in the original source code. And I'm looking
Yeah.
at that and I'm just amazed. It's like, and this is basically running local LLMs, because I
Right.
have customers who require running it locally. And
Hmm.
so I ship them a server and then they run it all locally to do their project. And even on the local LLMs, the GPT OSS 20B or 120B models, they're doing an amazing job of adding comments where none existed before. And I'm looking at saying, whoa, in this case, the code, is actually a little bit better than the original. in these respects. It might not be 100% perfect, but it's like, wow, I can look at that and I can read the comments, and it figured that out. It inferred that just by reading the source code. And it's like, wow, that's pretty amazing. I'm very pleased with that.
Should I push back on comments versus code as comments?
Oh,
I'm in the camp of to the extent that it's humanly possible, in whatever language you're in, if you can make your code sort of self-commenting. The Jeff Atwood, I'm going to blame him. This is, by the way, a logical fallacy. This is a logical fallacy called an appeal to an authority. Jeff Atwood, who co-authored Stack Overflow, he says a comment is a lie waiting to happen. That's sometimes comments are useful. See, I'm playing both sides. I ought to run for politics.
But which coding platform was he on?
That's a good question. Oh, Stack Overflow was built on a Microsoft stack.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they use .NET. And probably having a bit of a hard time now that the AI is kind of taking a massive bite off their market.
Well, yeah, because I'm looking at things like Perl and regular expressions. It's like, how do you do that without a comment?
Perl is not meant to be read, actually. I think Perl is designed to be a completely 100% unreadable language.
And Tony, for the exception to prove the rule, I agree with you as well. So
on the comments are overrated. Which one?
Look, I always love it when the comment above is this next step sets the field of the invoice ID based on the date, blah 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 blah, and then the next field is a set field step. So yes, if you're commenting, make it helpful.
Yeah,
give it context.
my comment is we declare this code to be self-evident.
Yeah,
that's a USA joke, by the way.
the map is
that
not
all
the
code
territory.
is created equal.
The map is not the territory. So no matter how much you it's manipulating the data, and if you don't pay attention and forget to update the comment, and you change your code, then it's a lie waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's Jeff Atwood. Got to agree with the guy on that one.
And then you end up with 12 historical marks as to how this code's changed over the last 17 years. Well, does that help me really?
I found
not unless they're in line.
Yeah, I was able to in FileMaker I discovered. I don't know if I learned this from somebody else, but when you have a layout name or a script name that's going to appear, you can put that instead of putting a comment. You can that script step. You can just what do they call it? Not a comment, but you can slash it out. I forget what they call that.
Comment.
No, that's do you mean two slashes? That's disable it.
Disable, yeah. So you just put that right inside the comment, or between the lines of the comment. Said it's using, this is being called by this script and that script, and just perform scripts on there and put in the name of it. And if the script names ever change, then it'll change within the disabled comment, I should say. And then you don't have to. Then things like that won't break, but.
Right, but you can't do that with a script, because you're going to have to reference the script. You'd have to reference the script to say this is the script that gets run for whatever purpose. That's a great way to comment in direction, but yeah. So I'll leave it there. I'm getting tired. I'm fading, and I have to get up early. So I'm the party pooper. I'm the first one to go.
Vince, good to see you.
Yeah, you're the
nice
canary
to see
in
you all.
Okay, Vince.
Yeah, you're the canary, Vince. I'm out too. I got to eat.
Yeah. All right. Nice to see everyone. Nice conversation.
Yeah, it can be a good place.
It was a good show.
Recording.
Yeah.
Let's stop. Yeah, let's stop the recording.
Happy holidays.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Festival of Lights.
Yeah, night lights and
See you
all.
on the other side.
Or tomorrow at DIGFM.
Oh yeah, that's
FM
FM
Wednesday.
disc rather. FM disc rather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Good night, Vince.